An Oregon-based cat food company has issued a recall due to its raw frozen food testing positive for the bird flu. This comes after Oregon authorities reported that a house cat died.
When you pour food into your cat's bowl, do you actually know what's in it? Because right now, in freezers, pantries, and cupboards all over the country, there are cat food brands that look completely normal, smell fine, look fine, but have been linked to devastatingly disturbing health violations. And here's the worst part. Most of the people feeding these foods weren't careless. They were loving owners. They trusted the label, trusted the brand, trusted the marketing. That's why today I'm exposing 10 cat food brands you should never feed your cat. And stay tuned till the end because I'll give you 4 safer alternatives so you're not left guessing. Number 10. Darwin's Natural Pet Products. Darwin's sells themselves as premium raw food, frozen chicken recipes, subscription service, the kind of thing health-conscious cat owners pay extra for because they want the absolute best. Well, in September 2024, the FDA tested 6 lots of their chicken recipes. 5 came back positive for Salmonella, 1 tested positive for Listeria, and both bacteria can kill cats, especially young ones, seniors, or any cat with a compromised immune system. Here's what makes this worse. The FDA told Darwin's to recall the contaminated products. Darwin's refused. They contacted about 3% of their customers who had received the bad batches and just stopped shipping them. No official recall. The FDA had to issue a public warning telling people not to feed these products because the company wouldn't do it themselves. Your cat eats contaminated food. Seems fine for a few days because cats hide illness instinctively. By the time you notice diarrhea, lethargy, loss of appetite, the bacteria's already done damage. Even worse, you can get infected just by handling the food or cleaning the litter box. Salmonella doesn't just stay in your cat, it spreads through your entire home. And what was Darwin's response to refusing the recall? They told customers that transparency was important to them. Apparently not important enough to actually recall poisoned food. If you think one contaminated batch is bad, the next brand got recalled twice in the same year for the same problem. Number 9. Blue Ridge Beef. Another raw food brand, and another Salmonella disaster. Actually, multiple disasters. 2024 alone saw Blue Ridge Beef recalled twice. First in September for Salmonella in their kitten grind products. Then in November for Listeria contamination in multiple raw food varieties. The pattern with raw foods is undeniable. When you skip cooking, you skip the step that kills bacteria. Every microbiologist will tell you this. The risk is documented in FDA reports over and over. Blue Ridge Beef joins Northwest Naturals, Viva Raw, and others in a growing list of raw brands that keep contaminating products with pathogens that can kill your cat. If cooking kills bacteria, why are we giving raw meat to animals we love? I'm not saying all raw food is bad. I'm saying the companies making it keep failing basic safety testing. And when they fail, your cat pays the price. Raw brands are newer to the market, but these next brands have been feeding American cats since before your parents were born, and they're still poisoning pets today. Number 8. Meow Mix and 9 Lives, both owned by J.M. Smucker. Both budget brands from a massive corporation. Meow Mix has been feeding American cats since the 1970s. Those orange bags are everywhere. The jingle is burned into our collective memory. Then you look at the recall history and everything changes. 2007 melamine contamination during the industry-wide crisis that killed hundreds of pets. Multiple thiamine deficiency recalls over the years, the most recent in 2017. Thiamine is vitamin B1. Cats absolutely need it to survive. Without enough, they develop neurological symptoms. Neck paralysis, seizures, inability to walk, even death if not caught early. 9 Lives has the exact same problem. Also owned by Smucker. Also hit with repeated thiamine recalls. 2017 saw multiple varieties pulled for insufficient vitamin levels, and the symptoms are absolutely horrifying to watch. Your cat's neck curves downward. They can't lift their head, they stumble and fall, circle in place. By the time it's obvious something's wrong, weeks of damage have already happened. And here's what should make you furious. This isn't contamination from an outside source. This is a manufacturing failure. Someone's job is to add thiamine during production, and they keep failing at it. When the same company fails the same test multiple times across different years, then there's a problem with their systems. You know what's worse than a recognizable brand with a terrible track record? A store brand that won't even tell you what's killing your cat. Number 7. Special Kitty, Walmart brand. The cheapest option on the shelf. For families stretching every dollar in shelters feeding dozens of cats, Special Kitty looks like the practical choice. Then you see what practical actually means. 2007, melamine contamination. 2008, Salmonella. 2017, thiamine deficiency again. Then 2019 brought something truly terrifying. A recall citing only health concerns potentially associated with ingredients. No explanation of what those ingredients were. The symptoms listed in the recall notice ranged from nausea and drooling to seizures and death. When a company won't tell you what's wrong with their food, either they're hiding something horrific or they genuinely don't know. Neither option is acceptable. Store brands source from multiple manufacturers and quality control is inconsistent from batch to batch. 1 week's production might be fine. The next could kill your cat, and you won't know until symptoms start. Now, small budget brands fail because they're small, but this next brand owned by Nestlé, one of the largest food corporations on Earth, can't figure out what's making thousands of cats sick. That's a whole different level of concerning. Number 6, Friskies, Purina, Nestlé. Here's where it gets a bit complicated. Between November 2023 and April 2024, the FDA received approximately 1,300 adverse event reports about Purina products. Most were about Friskies and Purina Pro Plan. There was violent vomiting, bloody diarrhea, cats dying within days of opening a new case. Thousands of owners reported identical symptoms. Specific batch numbers kept appearing. 1,157, 1,159, 1,161. Social media even exploded with complaints. Well, the FDA investigated, tested samples, reviewed veterinary records, and guess what their conclusion was? They couldn't find contamination that explained all the reports. Purina maintained their food was safe. No recall was issued. So what happened? We genuinely don't know. Either thousands of cat owners experienced mass hysteria or something in certain batches caused real harm that testing didn't catch. Purina's scale means even a tiny percentage of contaminated products affects millions of cans. When that many people report their cats getting sick from specific batches, something went wrong. We just don't know what. Now, Friskies might get away with mystery illnesses, but this next brand has a crystal clear pattern. 5 different contaminants, 5 different years, all documented. Number 5, IAMS, Mars Pet Care, a legacy brand that's been around since 1946. Veterinarians recommended it for decades. Then the recalls started piling up. In 2007, 43 products were recalled during the melamine crisis, more than almost any other brand. In 2010, thiamine deficiency in their products caused seizures and neurological damage. In the same year, there was salmonella in their veterinary formulas. The food designed for sick cats made them sicker. In 2011, aflatoxin contamination. That's a mold toxin that causes liver failure and cancer. In 2013, more salmonella. 5 different contaminants, 5 different years, same brand. When you see this pattern, the problem isn't one bad supplier or one unfortunate batch. The entire quality control system is vulnerable. If you own senior cats who've eaten IAMS their whole lives, loyalty to a brand means nothing when manufacturing keeps failing. IAMS is bad enough, but these next brands aren't just pet food. They're prescription diets your veterinarian tells you to buy, and they're failing in ways that could kill the animals they're supposed to help. Number 4, Royal Canin, also Mars Pet Care. Royal Canin sells medical precision, veterinary diets formulated for specific conditions. We're talking kidney disease, urinary problems, and even thyroid issues. These aren't foods you grab casually. Your vet prescribes them. Your cat's health depends on the exact nutrient profile inside. In 2023, they recalled bags of feline renal support. Why? Well, the formula inside the packaging was the wrong one. Mislabeling a prescription diet is medical-grade negligence. Think about what this means. Your cat has kidney disease. Stage 3, you're managing it carefully with medication and diet. The vet prescribes Royal Canin renal formula because it has restricted phosphorus and sodium. You buy it, fill the bowl every day, but the nutrients going into your cat's system are completely different from what the treatment plan requires. Your cat's phosphorus levels spike, their blood pressure changes, kidney values worsen, and you have no idea because the label says it's the right food, only to be told it was a manufacturing oops. Mislabeling is bad, but accidentally adding poison? That's exactly what the world's largest pet food company did to prescription food. Number 3, Purina Pro Plan. In February 2023, Purina announced a recall of their Pro Plan veterinary diets EL elemental prescription food. Why? Elevated vitamin D levels. not slightly elevated, up to 77 times higher than expected levels. Let that sink in. 77 times. The company received 2 confirmed cases of dogs developing vitamin D toxicity after eating this prescription diet. Both dogs needed veterinary care. Both recovered only after being taken off the food. A month later, Purina expanded the recall to include 2 more production codes. 9 total lots were affected, all traced back to a supplier error from ADM Nutrition, a company with $64 billion in annual sales that calls itself a global leader in human and animal nutrition. Here's where it gets infuriating. The FDA inspected Purina's Clinton, Iowa facility right after the recall. What they found exposed a complete failure of safety systems. Purina's own hazard analysis had identified vitamin D toxicity as a hazard likely to occur with this specific product. They knew it was a risk. They documented it. Then they failed to test the vitamin premix when it arrived from the supplier. Failed to test the finished food before shipping. Failed to implement any monitoring or verification steps that would have caught the problem. The systems existed on paper. Nobody was using them. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? It's the exact same failure that led to Hill's massive vitamin D disaster. This was prescription food specifically formulated for dogs with severe food allergies and inflammatory bowel disease. Dogs who are already sick, already suffering, already dependent on precise nutrition to survive, and Purina sent out food with vitamin levels 77 times higher than safe. Vitamin D at toxic levels causes vomiting, extreme thirst, kidney damage, and death. The symptoms develop slowly. Your cat seems fine, then suddenly isn't. By the time blood work reveals the calcium spike, permanent damage may already be done. This is Purina, not some small startup, not a boutique brand with limited resources. This is Nestlé Purina Pet Care, part of one of the largest food corporations on Earth. They have the money for testing. They have the systems in place. They chose not to use them. And when their supplier sent vitamin premix with levels 77 times too high, nobody caught it because nobody was checking. The FDA had to tell them their prerequisite programs were either insufficient or inadequately implemented. That's regulatory speak for you knew what to do and didn't do it. Now, 2 confirmed cases sounds almost contained, right? Well, the next brand turned vitamin D poisoning into the largest pet food recall in modern history, and a brand that literally has science in its name. Number 2, Hill's Science Diet. In January 2019, Hill's recalled canned dog food for elevated vitamin D. Not slightly high, dangerously high. The recall eventually covered 85 lots, over 675,000 cases, more than 17 million cans worldwide. Dogs started dying. The FDA received hundreds of reports. Multiple class action lawsuits were filed representing 300 plaintiffs. One lawsuit alleged Hill's knew about the problem as early as February 2018, nearly a year before the recall. The case settled for $12.5 million. But money doesn't bring back the pets that died. And here's what makes it worse. The FDA inspected Hill's facility during the investigation. Their report stated Hill's had a system requiring certificates of analysis for vitamin premixes. The system designed to prevent exactly this type of error. But Hill's wasn't following their own safety procedures. They didn't obtain the certificates when ingredients arrived. The system existed on paper, but nobody used it. Now, Hill's says they've implemented stricter testing. The exact same system they had before, but promised to actually follow this time. The word science is literally in the brand name. And they poisoned hundreds of thousands of cans through basic manufacturing failure. Everything we've talked about so far, thiamine deficiency, vitamin toxicity, mislabeling, bacterial contamination, it's all terrible. But nothing, and I mean nothing, compares to what this #1 brand did. They put euthanasia drugs in cat food. The chemical used to peacefully end a pet's life ended up in cans people bought to feed their healthy animals. Number 1, the Vengers. In February 2017, a woman in Washington fed her 4 pugs a can of Evanger's hunk of beef as a treat. Within minutes, all 4 dogs started showing alarming symptoms. She rushed them to the vet. 1 pug, Tallulah, died despite emergency care. Necropsy results showed pentobarbital in her stomach. That's the drug used to euthanize animals. The same chemical vets inject to peacefully end a pet's life was inside a can of food labeled premium beef. The FDA tested unopened cans from the same lot, positive for pentobarbital. They tested the dead dog's stomach contents. Positive. They tested against the grain products made in the same facility. Also positive. Then the FDA inspected Evanger's manufacturing plants. What they found was a nightmare. The inspection report documented peeling paint and mold on walls, lack of raw meat refrigeration, an open sewer within 25 feet of food storage. And here's the part that's worse. Evanger's advertised their food as human-grade, USDA-inspected, people food for pets. The FDA reviewed their supplier documents and found receipts for inedible hand-deboned beef. For pet, food use only, not fit for human consumption. The supplier had no USDA inspection. Private lab testing found horse DNA in the cans labeled beef. Avengers blamed their meat supplier, claiming a 40-year relationship had gone wrong. The FDA inspected that supplier and found systems in place to prevent euthanized animals from entering the food chain. So where did the pentobarbital come from? We still don't know, but we know it ended up in over 1 million cans sold annually. Evanger's most popular product, eaten by cats and dogs across the country, and some of them were essentially being euthanized by the food their owners thought was premium quality. Alright, pause. If that list made you uncomfortable, good, it should. Because now you're probably thinking one of two things. Wait, what am I supposed to feed my cat then? Or even worse, have I already messed this up? And if this video is making you pause and rethink what you've been pouring into your cat's bowl for years, hit that subscribe button. And I'm genuinely curious, after seeing this so far, does this make you distrust the entire pet food industry? Or does it just change which brands you're willing to give your trust to? Tell me in the comments. Now let's talk about the brands that do pass the test. Number 1. Open Farm. This brand has never been recalled, has humanely raised proteins sourced from verified farms, and a transparency tool on their website where you can track ingredients back to their source. Every batch is tested for bacterial contamination. They use non-GMO fruits and vegetables, no artificial preservatives or flavor enhancers. And the cans show actual ingredient information, not vague claims. You pay premium prices though, around $3 per 5.5 ounce can, but you're buying verified safety and quality. Number 2. Smalls. Smalls makes human-grade cat food in small batches using USDA-certified ingredients. No preservatives, byproducts, or fillers. They make everything fresh and deliver it frozen. The ingredient list on their chicken formula is 8 items long. You can read and understand every single one. Even better, they've never been recalled because they maintain control over every step of production. However, it's expensive, around $4 to $6 per day depending on your cat's size. But that's what real quality costs. Number 3. Weruva. Made in human food facilities in Thailand under USDA guidelines. You can see actual pieces of chicken breast and fish when you open the can. It has 80 to 85% moisture content, which is crucial for cats who don't drink enough water. No carrageenan in most formulas. Virtually no recall history in over 15 years of production. The ingredient list is short and readable. The price runs $2.50 to $3.50 per 3-ounce pouch. However, they're lower in calories than some foods, so you might need to feed more, but the quality is undeniable. Number 4. Tiki Cat. Tiki Cat uses whole meat and organ ingredients, not meat byproducts. Actual chicken hearts, gizzards, liver, their products contain around 80% moisture in natural broth. No heavy thickeners or carrageenan in many formulas. No recalled products in their history. The shredded texture triggers natural feeding instincts that processed pâtés can't match. For diabetic cats, carbohydrate content is essentially 0. For kidney concerns, that high moisture makes a real difference. The cost is $2 to $3 per 2.8 ounce can. Not cheap, but you're paying for whole food, not filler extended with gums and water. 10 brands, multiple violations each, euthanasia drugs, deadly bacteria, vitamin disasters, mislabeled prescriptions, and these are just the ones that got caught and publicly documented. How many problems never made it to recall status? How many cats got sick and owners never connected it to the food? Every single can you buy is an act of trust, and with these 10 brands, that trust has been repeatedly violated. But you watch this video, you know now, and that changes everything. You've now got 4 alternatives that actually deserve your trust. Are they more expensive? Yes. Is your cat's life worth $12 extra a month? You already know the answer. Now comment below, what are you feeding right now? If it's one of the risky ones, don't wait. Make the switch, and if you found this helpful, hit subscribe so you never have to trust a label blindly again. And share this video with a friend who also has a cat. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.